A beautiful Wednesday morning to be doing some newspaper review with you. Like I'd always say, if you're on your way to work or you're at work still preparing, or you're like me that's already at your workplace but still tuning in, do glue to your screen. And you know what time it is? It's time to review some newspaper headlines as well as tech stories touching the lives of Nigerians, Africans, and beyond the coast of Africa. And I'm not alone. I still have the law with me in the building. Barrister Damisi Adenikinju. Today I want to call your name full. Welcome,
well.
sir.
Called it very well.
I tried, right?
Yes, it's my pleasure being here once again.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for gracing us with your presence again.
Yes,
Without taking much of your time, let's dive into our tech news. The first tech news we'll be taking is the Google settles YouTube children privacy lawsuit. First of all, before we dive into the full information, I think a few weeks back, we were talking about a news that came up that the U.S. embassy government came out to actually try to ban some or put a age restriction on some of these social media, and YouTube was one of the people that were put under this. And now we've been seeing this reoccurrence of Google and age using this what will I call it, age restriction problem, collecting information from young people, from children, and using it for their own benefit. We saw this in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. This same particular type of news came up in 2012, and it has come up again. We've seen that Google has agreed to pay 30 million for this particular issue when it comes with the lawsuit that was filed against them. Now, before I enter the news in full, my question is, this keeps coming up. Now, would we say there's a possibility that it's true what they're saying?
Yes. So I'll start by saying this, that the government needs to look at a way to regulate the tech space, which is what the U.S. government is doing, you know. And when you go into the news, you will see that they were selling children's information to probably advertising agencies and all, and that's illegal under the U.S. law. So the regulatory agency came out and said, look, we are going to fine you for this. The court, although it has not been approved by the court, it has not been stamped by the court, Google still has a right to appeal this to the U.S. court and say, look, we are not guilty of this. But for them, like you said, wanting to pay the fine already.
They are not even appealing. They are trying to pay the fine.
So Google is a big company. Probably $30 million is not really a big fine for them, you know. But like you said, like we've always been discussing on this platform, when it comes to data privacy, we have to take it really seriously. And for me, children, you know, just as we said last time that is it the Australian government or the US government were putting a stop to YouTube underage users and all of that, that there will be a sort of restriction. Children's lives, children's privacy should even be more protected than even adults. Or, you know, you can't just be selling children's information for your own benefit. You know, you sell them to advertisers so that they will be doing target advertisements for children, their cartoons, their this and all of that. And all these things breaches data privacy laws, especially in the US. So these are the things that I think the regulatory agency in the US looked at, and they said, look, we have to put a stop to this. But like you said, it has happened before. So how do we put a full stop to this? Criminality, I don't know how to put it. Criminality is not something you can stop, like fully. You can only reduce it. So if there's to your question, if there's a way we can stop this fully, I think it will be to increase the fines the more. Probably because Google is almost $1 trillion company. Almost, I think, in that sense, they're a $1 billion company, almost $1 trillion company. So if you can increase the fines more, in situations like Nigeria now, you know, there was a time that we find the DSTV and they went and they started crying in the Senate, you know. So regulatory agencies need to find a way to put a stop to this so that tech companies will see that data privacy is of essence and is very, very important in protecting the lives of children, in protecting the lives of adults, so that you don't just see your data being spread everywhere and to advertising agencies, to even criminals. You don't know who can get hold of your data. Yes.
So for me, I feel like this including fine is not really necessary. Why I say this? Parents came out to actually let me read that particular part of the paragraph. It said the new case has brought over 34 children parents who said YouTube lured their kids with cartoons and nursery rhymes to facilitate data collection. Now, parents have come out, for parents to come out and actually show concern, and the government now giving them a fine to pay, and they are willing to pay, and they've paid before. Like I said, they've done this in 2012, and they've paid before. They've been alleged to have done this, and they paid before, and they did not even still come out to agree to the alleged criminality that was put on them. But they are paying the money. Now, it raises questions on the minds of these parents, because if they pay the money and they do it again, this also raises, it also leads to, like I say, distrust from parents in their government to be able to carry out what they are supposed to do. Let's tackle the real issue. The real issue is that these people are using. That's what they are saying. So we should, I think the government should actually, instead of trying to put
measures,
or trying to go into the matter fully, research on it, try to investigate it fully.
Probably make some arrests even, if possible.
Instead of putting fines and it to be paid, then maybe after 3 years after now, then another, then it to be paid. It just really shows the parents might feel. Parents even, I think at the time, parents might even get tired and want to even restrict their children personally from this particular thing. But that's also call on the parents. It shows that you should restrict, there should be a restriction from the parents on how their children access Google or all these social media platform, YouTube, TikTok, because now the way children are going on social media is even more than us, the adults. Sorry, let me know, because I'm still a child. It's even more than our parents.
Yes.
Our parents are not really the social media type.
No, they are not.
Because we are
WhatsApp, and they call WhatsApp WhatsApp.
So when I told when I told my mom that there's another social media platform like the Telegram, because she was supposed to join a meeting on Telegram, and I told her there's Telegram. She said, oh, Telegram. It's only WhatsApp she has. And opening our children to these things really brings out a lot of problem. The screen time, the access they have to this. Despite the fact that they will put an age ban on this particular social media platform, it doesn't still approve or show an evidence that yes, those children are really restricted. You know, we were talking about it one period of time, that putting ban, and I as a child will see that this particular content should not be looked upon for children lower than the age of 18. And if I'm 15, I can easily just swipe it and continue what I'm doing. So what are the measures that can be put in place to stop this thing permanently? Let's okay, even if not now, but let's look at a permanent work measures that we're looking at it, that yes, if after 3 years this would actually be effective, very effective.
You know, just as when we were speaking, I said maybe there will need to be more stringent measures from the government in terms of regulations. Probably even they might need to unveil the company. You know, there's something we call unveiling the company, because Google is not a person. You cannot go and arrest Google. You can only arrest the people, directors, or the people that's in Google. So it might also say, we'll unveil the company and go and pick up your directors or some of your staff that are in charge of some of these, making some of these decisions for Google. Then also, when it comes to, you know, like we said last time, when it comes to children's use of these gadgets, really it bestows on the parents mainly. I think there's a YouTube for kids. I think my siblings have YouTube Kids, you know, and that's the only one that is on their tab, their tabs and all of that, their systems and all. So that's the only YouTube for kids, you know. Government has also tried to restrict some of these platforms for just maybe if you're above 18, you can't use some of these platforms, you cannot access some of this content. You need parental consent, you need parental password to be able to access some of this content. So parents are the major factor when it comes to children accessing some of this content online. You get, so it just bestows on the parent. The government will do its part, but like you said, if I put my phone here and it has YouTube, You get my siblings or my child can just go and click on YouTube and just watch what he wants to watch. You get, so it builds on the parents mainly. Then it now goes to the society and then to the government. Yeah.
Okay, the next tech news we're looking at is a very funny one and one of the most interesting one I've seen online is the White House launches its new TikTok account as Trump saying, "I am your voice." We heard that the White House has officially joined TikTok, opening an account on a popular video sharing app with more than 170 million US users. President Trump, who has created TikTok with created a TikTok account with helping him to connect to young voters during the 2024 election victory over Kamala Harris, appeared in the first video declaring, "I am your voice." The account, White House, launched Tuesday evening with the message, "America, we are back. What's up, TikTok?" When I saw this particular news, it just carried my mind back to that period of time where Trump was trying to fight TikTok, and all of a sudden, the person who was fighting TikTok was seeing him.
Yeah, seen him being on TikTok.
Having a TikTok account, not for himself, just for himself, but for the whole White House.
For the whole White House,
and all of that. So it's beyond like I said, it's beyond him himself now. It's now for the whole White House. But people have come out, not people, just people, but concerned political bodies have come out to actually ask, is it necessary? This actually opens us, with their threats. They always feel threatened by Chinese people. Yeah. And TikTok account is owned by a Chinese private organization. So they are always being threatened. They are always thinking the Chinese government is after them. So they are still raising concerns on TikTok, on the White House having a TikTok account, and the Chinese being able to get information from them on that particular TikTok account. We've been talking about data privacy, and they have, I think, Nigeria. Do we have one? The Nigerian government have a TikTok account?
I've not seen. Maybe the Aso Villa has. I've not seen. I don't know if President Tinubu has, or maybe. But I know I've seen some of our politicians on TikTok. Some major politicians on TikTok. They are there. They do their things on TikTok. But in Nigeria, we don't really have a problem with China. Nothing really concerns us. TikTok, Twitter, anywhere, X, rather. So anywhere. But back to the story, I think it's very funny, like you said.
Yes.
Just a while back, as at last year, there were calls for TikTok to be banned across America. That TikTok is spying on the nation, security concerns, is owned by China, and we know this like struggle, or will I say battle, between the Chinese and the Americans.
Yeah.
So now the president of America coming out to say they've opened a TikTok account, saying we are back. He wants to connect with the younger ones, and you can understand the reasoning, because a lot of young people, these Gen Zs, they are on TikTok.
Yeah.
They are on TikTok. People that are 20 and below, 25, they are mostly on TikTok. And TikTok is like the most Gen Z social media app,
yes,
in today's world now. So it's a good one from the president, but at the same time, you now have to look at the safety concerns that people are raising. That since it's owned by a Chinese company, won't China be able to access? Do you think you're actually running
data away from? Yeah. Are you now saying that you're putting it out for them to?
Yes. But on the flip side again, you trust the US. They should have done their background checks. Yes. They should have done their security clearances and all of that before the president can be able to.
I think they should even know what particular type of videos they can upload and what kind of information they can't upload.
Yes. So they will put the kind of information that they will put out there, the kind of information that will be available for TikTok to access and all of that. So so it's just it's. To me, when the ban of TikTok came about, I was just like, these Americans, they don't want these Chinese people to have any leeway in their country and
at all.
At all. It's a good. I think they've settled it. There was a time, is it the TikTok? He had to go to the White House, spoke to the president and all of that. There's so many Chinese MDs too. They've met with President Trump. They've assured him of security of their platforms, some of their platforms, beyond even tech and all of that, look, we are working for Americans, we are not going to be spying on behalf of China. And I think those reassurances might have enabled the president to say, look, we can actually have a TikTok account for White House. Yes.
Okay, let's actually dive into our first newspaper front page. And we'll be looking at the Punch newspaper first, where we see that 2027 shuts down, Wike fires shots at Amechi and Babachir trenches ADC. And in page 2, we see RMAFC faces backlash over the pay rise of political office holders. And in page 3, we see that court blocks ex-NNPCL boss accounts amid EFCC probe. And the big headline, we see that capital projects crumble as state court spending in page 2. And beneath it, we see that 36 governments unite to woo foreign investors via new platform. And in page 30, we see that ex-NNPCL spokesman canvasses tax relief for media houses. And in page 7, Owo Church attackers have ties to Al-Shabaab, DSS come out to say. And INEC has come out to say in page 9 that by-election winners get certificates to return Thursday. Now back to our first story on that particular punch, on the RMAFC story. We talked about that yesterday, yes, where the government is trying to raise the salaries of senators, presidents, and we've seen that political bodies have come out to backlash this and stand against this particular reform that has been made by the government. And their own, like we said it yesterday, so we understand from their point of view. Now, when I was reading this particular news, my own point of view, these people that came out, these particular bodies, political bodies that came out to actually speak against it, these bodies are not on seats. They are not the people that are benefiting from this. So my question is, if they were benefiting from it, will we still see
them standing
against it? Can we say we believe in these people? Because it's one thing to celebrate that, yes, there are political bodies that want to come out and speak against the government trying to do something and all of that, something that is illegal or something that is unjust, something that they are not seeing deemed fit for this for that particular period of time and all of that. But if they were on seat, will we still be reading that these same people came out to speak against?
Yeah, so that's a big question. I really can't answer that question because I don't know the minds of, Nigerian politicians, when they are not on seat, they will oppose anything the government says.
Yeah.
But once they become the ones on seat or in power, they will be the ones to start what the previous administration did. They will even do more times 2 of what they were insulting the government for previously. So it's not a one, but the fact that these parties, these people, they've come out. When I read the news, we have people like Bode George, we have people like the Labour Party come out to say like it's not in good taste. The basis for this increment in salary, I still don't understand it. I mean, they say the president is earning 1.5 million naira. You cannot say the salary of the president is 1.5 million naira and he has access to billions. Yeah, it doesn't, I mean, like we said yesterday, there are governments in the Western world that they don't even earn salaries. There are presidents that they don't even earn salaries. There are ministers that they don't earn salaries at all. They just want to serve the people. And now we are looking at in Nigeria where there is massive hunger. Insecurity is there. And what the government can think of is let's increase the salaries of our office holders. It's in bad taste, it's a bad omen for the people of Nigeria. And the people that have come out to oppose this, it's a good one. Let the opposition parties oppose it.
That's what I want to say. It is not looking like a political fight.
It's a political fight. Because now that we are going to 2027 election, let them fight it, let them oppose it. But like you said, when them too they get there, would they not also want to increase their own salaries? Nigeria now everybody is looking for national cake. So when it's my turn to get there, I will do even worse. Even the young ones, the young generation too, everybody is talking about national cake and all of that. But to me, it's a good one that they oppose it. That political parties oppose what the government is doing that doesn't stand right with it. Look, I've never seen, when it comes to opposition, I remember the days of Goodluck Jonathan. I've never seen the way opposition stood like that in my own lifetime. Every of Jonathan's policies was being attacked. Subsidy removal, you will see there will be protests in Lagos, there will be this. Everybody. Now that the people that were opposing Jonathan, they are there now, like we said, they are the ones that want to increase salaries.
They're the ones that want to increase salaries. That's our major issue. Will we see you people who are opposition parties that are speaking against this particular reform come to sit and not do worse than what these people are already doing? But like you said, let's just watch and see. The opposition is a normal thing, and when it comes to political fight and tussle, let's leave them. As far as it's for the good.
Yes.
For now, let's enjoy the benefits of it and hope that when they get into seats, there will be no other serious issues after this. To the next particular story on that same Punch newspaper, we see that 36 governments unite to woo foreign investors via new platform. These are the kind of informations or the kind of news stories we like hearing. When there's innovation, when there's a concern for investment that would lead to innovation or creation of new innovated policies, because I feel like most of our, like you said, we have a lot of laws in Nigeria, a lot of policies in Nigeria that is supposed to serve Nigeria well, but we are suffering from them because they are not properly carried out. They are not properly enforced and all of that. They're not properly looked into by every, and that's what I wanted to ask you yesterday. I forgot to. Is there any law covering that particular increase of this political positioning, the increase of their salary? Is there a law covering it?
No, there's really no law covering the increments of.
So they can easily come up and.
They can just, what they just need to do is the body in charge. What's the revenue, the AFC.
AFC.
Yes. So what they just do is the president gives a directive that look, we want to increase our political office holder spending, right to the National Assembly, and they just accents to it, pass it, and it's increased. Yes, that's all. Not really like a major law that, okay, you have to go through this. No. It's just like the National Assembly now, like for senators and House of Reps members, they are the ones that are in charge of their own salaries. They don't even need this thing. So the National Assembly, then they can come together and say, look, we want to increase our salaries. They reach a resolution within themselves, 2/3, increase the salaries, and it's being passed. So it's not like there will be need for the National Assembly to vote on it. Should there be increments in political office holders? No. They just give a directive and that's it.
The citizens do not even have a say.
No, the citizens, if your own salary is to be increased now, there will need to be a law. They will need to pass minimum wage.
But we do not have to say their own salary.
No.
So that still falls back to the citizens. Please vote wisely. Vote well. Make sure you cast your vote. Make sure you are there to vote and vote wisely, because it's still our problem. It will still affect us one way or the other. It's our problem as citizens. When they are having issues up there, we would always have a backlash of this particular issue. So please, as citizens, vote wisely. Make sure you go out and vote. Don't have that saying that even if we cast our votes, it might not be our votes that they would actually get a ruling party from, but still go out to vote. It is one thing to go out to vote, then another thing for them in their own part. Then we can hold them responsible. But when we don't see you outside voting, they can now decide to now use that word against us. But please, as citizens, try to cast your vote. So back to the story, we see that Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, launched an Intopedia platform to attract foreign and African investments, aiming to generate jobs, boost infrastructure, and drive economic growth across all 36 states. We see that the publication highlights the major projects and offers market insights, and is designed as a one-step resource for investors, backed by the NGF Fund and partnership with MOFI, NSIA, and partnership with CBN to seek bridge Nigerian $100 billion annual infrastructure financing gap and position the country as an investment-ready destination. Like I said, these are the kind of stories we actually like to hear when we see that Nigeria. Now, because we always hear, we still hear news like this. But it comes up for one particular state, another state. But as Nigeria now, they said it's going to touch the whole 36 states in the country. And with the fact that we are suffering economically and so many other things are happening, poverty rates and all of those things, and seeing that the government has come out to say, give me feel that yes, this is a good reform.
Yeah, it's a good one. Like I always say that it's not just about the president. It's not just about the federal government. The state governments also need to find ways that they pull in investment into their states. I mean, the states, a lot of states depend solely on federal allocation. They will go every month, they will go to the ASO Villa to go and collect money from the federal government. No, you should begin to look for how to woo investment into your state. You know, there are some states you will never hear from. Like, you don't hear them in the news for good or bad. You don't hear them. How do they generate income? How do they get revenue? We don't know. And Nigeria is filled with so many natural resources, so much human resources. So it's a good one. I celebrate the governors for taking this initiative of creating an online platform where they can woo investors, you know. Let investors come and see what do you have that we can come and invest in your state. You know, state like Niger State, Jigawa, Ondo, Ekiti. What do you have in your state that we can come and once investors begin to come in, jobs will be created. Your state will have more money to do more capital projects. You will have more facilities to work. You know, now we haven't talking about, you know, there was once I was discussing with my friends not too long ago. Now that electricity, we are even thinking of, you know, state governments generating their own electricity. You know, this is a good time for you to even woo investment along that line so that your state will be able to generate its own electricity. Yeah, so, but this one that the states are always depending on federal allocation, you know, what will the federal government give me this month? It should stop. Let states begin to, I think the only state, I would say maybe one or two states that really doesn't really depend on federal allocation is probably Lagos and Rivers states, because they've been able to get a view of how investment should come into their state. But apart from that, I mean, not very many states have. Look at Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom has an airline, and it's something I like about them. It pulls, that's an investment platform. Like, it's something that they created jobs for their people, pulls investments into their state, and also other state governors need to wake up. This platform is a good one. It gives them something to work with. So let it not just be like, oh, we have a platform where we just invest. Let them actively woo these investors. Let them come in, both local investors, Nigerian investors, and foreign investors. Let them woo them in. Let them come and see their state so that more jobs will be created, money will circulate around the state. Because it's not just about federal government and President Tinubu.
Before we roll the curtain, we also see another headline in same Punch Sports, where the D Tigers battle Senegal for AfroBasket semi-finals. We have that the Nigerian senior men basketball team will be going against Senegal team Lions for AfroBasket 2025 quarter-finals in Angola. Nigeria has topped the Group B with 3 straight wins, and we also see that Senegal has topped with the three times they've gone on their match. They've won 2 matches. Nigeria has won their 3 matches, and these two people, this is a tough battle that between. So I think someone put it on Facebook as the Lions and the Tigers. Let's see who takes the king of the jungle. Let's see who wants to reclaim that position. And we know, we trust our people. We put so much trust in our people. We know, we're not bothered, Nigerians.
We're not bothered.
No, we're not bothered. We know what our people can do. But please do not fall our hand, because we will still give an after story after this, maybe in our next edition of Newspaper Review. So please, the D Tigers, do not fall my hand. Let me not be giving.
Of the
yes,
ladies.
Please, of the ladies, please do that. Somebody even wrote on Facebook that do and come and collect your
$100,000.
Your $100,000. And that person asked, he said the one that they've not even given the. But let's cran it all up and actually roll the curtain on our newspaper review for today. And I would also always say thank you to all our viewers that glued to their screen all through this particular newspaper review. And thank you to our guest for always making himself present in the studio for us. Thank you very much, Barrister Damisi. And to all our viewers, do continue to stay tuned to this particular station even as we bring you more innovative programs after this. And do not forget, I am Jacobs Deborah, your lovely host. And do always stay informed and stay safe. Bye for now.